Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning to everyone. Thank you for joining our workshop entitled Teaching Excellence Sharing, which today we will have the sharing from Anugerah Akademik Negara Award recipient, which is Dr. Shahreza from UMT. So first and foremost, I would like to introduce our honorable speaker. Dr. Shahreza Muhammad Sharif is a senior lecturer from Faculty of Fisheries and Food Science, Universiti Malaysia Terengganu. Selamat datang, Dr. Shah.
Yes, thank you.
He is currently hold the position as Head Training and Development Unit Talent and Innovation Development Center, UMT. In year 2017 until 2019, he holds position as Deputy Dean Talent and Research School of Fisheries and Aquaculture Sciences, UMT. Then in the year of 2014 until 2017, he is appointed as Deputy Director, Institute of Tropical Aquaculture, Aquatrop, UMT. And in 2019, he is awarded as winner for Anugerah Akademik Negara, kategori Anugerah Pengajaran. So without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Shah to start his sharing. And for attention to all participants, if you have any question, you just can unmute your microphone or you can state your question in the chat room. So I would like to pass this session to Dr. Shah.
Okay, thank you very much, Mazlina. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining this session, and also I would like to take this opportunity to thank CALM, UNIMAS for inviting me, and Alhamdulillah, several times I've been able to have the opportunity to meet with academician, interact with academician in UNIMAS. And I think it's not too late for me, even though it's coming to the end of Shawwal, to wish all of you Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri. May this year bring a very joyful Raya, as I'm sure that since the end of PKP and we're going to endemic, we are now in endemic, so presumably a lot of people get the chance to visit their relatives. Okay, so today I was invited to share, I can say, my journey, but not journey in terms of what I do in teaching and learning, but the journey going through the preparation for AAN. And I hope, and I think CALM also hope that this sharing could assist and give some ideas to participants following this program to get the idea on what is it like to be, and how to go about in preparing to submit for this award. Along the way, if you have any question, please do so. You can stop me anytime and ask. And if not, you can just put it inside the chat. I'll be keeping update with the chat session, and I will try to respond any of your inquiry. Okay, this is me. Again, I'm currently at the Faculty of Fisheries and Food Science, and my field is on fish genetics, right? And for those of you, if you have any inquiries after this, please take my phone number and email. You can contact me, call me, or WhatsApp me through this number. I'll be very glad to respond to any of your question, or if you need any assist, I'll be glad to help. So to share things about AAN today, I would like to break up into 3 sessions. The first is I'm going to explain a little bit about what AAN is all about, but focusing on teaching category. Second, I will share my journey in preparing for submission of this AAN, what I did. And the third one, I will recap back and summarize my presentation for this session. And let us pray to Allah that Allah will ease this presentation and ease your understanding, and hope that this information can benefit those who are following this program, inshallah. Okay, the first part is AAN. Okay, so anybody of you have ever submitted for AAN before, any category? If you don't mind, please respond to the chat if you have any, or if you have never submitted, have you ever been requested either by your faculty or university to submit, but you're reluctant to submit? If you have, please share your experience, because if you have that kind of feeling, don't be afraid and don't feel shy, because we are in the same boat. Okay, because during when I was also asked to submit, the first part is I feel reluctant to submit because I was feeling that I'm not up to the standard to receive the award. Okay, but along the way, as you can see, I don't know, because all this, as we must remember, anything that we have, anything that we receive, the rizki is coming from Allah. Okay, maybe you know this person here. Okay, this is Tuan Haji Shahrul Nizam. Yeah, he is from UNIMAS. Last time in 2019, we invited him to share his experience in AAN when we organized our amalan inovasi pengajaran dan pembelajaran way back in 2019. Okay, Tuan Haji is a AAN winner for teaching category Applied Science. So he won for the Applied Science cluster 2018. 2019, I won for the Applied Science cluster. And this year, there's one lecturer also won the award for Applied Science. And this year, the recipient was from two different clusters, one in Applied Science and the other one is on engineering, right? So a bit about AAN, it's the highest award and recognition given by Malaysia, by the country, to those academicians who contributes greatly, yeah, to the benefit of the academic aspect. It can be in teaching, it can be in discovery, commercialization, publication, books, and also arts. Okay, so generally it is being conducted yearly, but there are in some cases where they combine 2 years into one, maybe due to certain reason. Now, what I'm going to explain to you is regarding the teaching category. Okay, but bear in mind, I would like to make a disclaimer here. I'm not the panel, so I'm not in the capacity to talk about all the scope of evaluation, because I'm not the panel, so I don't know what is being evaluated. But I'm sharing with you based on what I've gone through when I was asked by the university to submit for this one. So I go out and search in the internet at KPT website regarding AAN, and these are the information that I can share with you. So in teaching category, they have 6 clusters. That means every year, if they are recipient, there will be 6 recipients. That means 1 recipient for each cluster. So we have in pure science, we have in applied science. Okay, Tuan Haji Shahrul and me won under the applied science category. Even this year also won in applied science. We have in health sciences, 2017, an academician from UKM won the award for in under health science. We have on engineering, we have a cluster on literature and social science, and also applied literature and applied social science. Well, applied literature and applied social science, the recipient was from UUM, Professor Dr. Fauzia Abdul Rahim, way back in 2018, together with Tuan Haji. And also Associate Professor Dr. Wan Zuhainis, who is the pengarah bahagian kecemaran akademik, who received the award under Pure Science cluster. So to those of you who are in the line of academics, you can see which cluster that you can submit for. Like for me, I submitted under applied science because most of my work is based on applied science. I'm a lecturer in fish genetics, and I teach students taking program in aquaculture as well as fisheries. And these are applied science program. And most of my activities, teaching activities, are also in dealing with applied science. So may I know among the audience today, which category are you? Most of you are in which category, so that I can have some idea who are the participants who is following me, and in which category you are in. Oh, okay. Some are in engineering. All right. So engineering, I think UNIMAS can start to invite the award winner this year, because one of them is engineering, to share some of her experience. The winner was a woman, but I forgot her name. From, I think, UTM. Okay, we have people in this audience coming from engineering. Yeah. All right. So what do you need to go through for this teaching category? Now, in AAN, you have several other awards. You have for Anugerah Makalah and Journal. You have for penerbitan buku. You have for Anugerah Inovasi dan Pengkomersialan Produk. This one I remembered this year because the recipient was our former Timbalan Naib Chancellor Akademik, Professor Dr. Azwan, who is an engineer. So he won this award for Anugerah Inovasi and Pengkomersialan. He was from UM. His tenure as our TNCAA was in between 2017 until 2020. And we have Anugerah Seni dan Kreativiti, Anugerah Pengajaran, as what I'm going to share, and Anugerah Ahli Akademik Harapan for those academicians who are below 40 years old. But among all those categories, teaching category is it's not the most rigorous process, but I can say it's the most, it may not be correct, tedious, because you need to go through 3 stages in order to be considered for the award. For other categories, you don't need to have to go through these kind of stages. So you need to prepare a teaching portfolio, right? Apart from you fill up the form online, okay? In my time, I need to fill up the form for the submission online, but you need to submit a printed copy of a teaching portfolio. Now, the panel will evaluate your portfolio. Those who achieve these certain marks will be called for teaching simulation. So you will be invited to come, okay? They will set a venue for you. You go to this teaching simulation, and you need to teach the panel. After that, you will go through an interview process. Now, stage 2 and stage 3 is conducted all at once, right? After you finish your teaching simulation, then they will continue with an interview. Then only the panel will evaluate after some times and determine who are the recipient for that particular year. And for teaching category, if you receive the award, it's only a lifetime, once in a lifetime. It's different from the other category, same as Anugerah Akademik Harapan. Let's say for journal, you can submit as many times you want. Assuming that you submit this year and you won, and you have another article, a high impact article, and you want to submit next year, you can still submit and still can be considered for the award. But for Anugerah Akademik Harapan, Anugerah Tokoh Akademik Negara, and Anugerah Pengajaran, it is only a once in a lifetime award that you only receive, that you can receive. Now, bear in mind, I would like to highlight this because based on my experience and also when I'm involved in assisting our next recipient for the award, when we give a briefing, a lot of academicians thought that AAN teaching category is an innovation competition. Okay, so they will say that I don't have any product, and then they can say that, can my product win the AAN teaching category award? So bear in mind, AAN teaching category is not a teaching and learning innovation competition. Okay, so if it is not an innovation competition, but they want to look at your innovation, so what is teaching category is about, and what do they look at? Now, for AAN teaching category, it is about your journey to improve yourself in teaching and learning. So that is why the recipient, one of the criteria is you must have at least a minimum of 10 years teaching experience. Okay? It is not for those who are less than 10 years. That is the first criteria. So they wanted to see how you develop yourself, you progress in your academic career in the teaching line, from where you are and where you are right now. Okay, where you are previously and where you are right now. So how do they see your career advancement in teaching and learning? So they look at your teaching portfolio. So that is why in the teaching category, you need to submit a teaching portfolio. Now, I will go through my experience and share with you what are the things that need to be put into, and what I put into my teaching portfolio when I submit for this award. Now, AAN teaching category, from what my understanding and my experience going through this process, they look into various aspects of your teaching experience. The first one is your teaching philosophy, your belief, why you teach in such a way, okay? Why you do that, why you have that kind of approach. You must have a philosophy, okay, that anchors the way you teach. So they want to know your teaching philosophy. They want to look at your teaching and learning experience. What are the subjects that you teach? Okay, and how do you deliver your subject? How do you assess your student? And your innovation. As an educator, you must be innovative. So part of it is any innovation that you develop during your career as an academician. Okay, and what are the impact of your teaching approach? You have your philosophy, you have your belief. Because of that, you have a way in your teaching approach. So your teaching approach with your belief might and should give impact to the advancement and development of the students. So these are the things that you also want to look at. And also your history. History in the sense that what are the courses that you teach and who are your students, your undergraduate students as well as your postgraduate students. Another aspect that they look into is your continuous quality improvement. How do you improve on your teaching? So these are the things that they want to look at. You must have a way, you must have your approach, you must have done something to keep on improving in order to improve the quality of your students. Okay, apart from that, with your belief, with your approach, and the continuous improvement, they also want to know whether you share your approach to other people, okay, in which you can give benefit from your sharing. So this sharing can be in terms of publication, a journal, books, module, or you share in the online platform. For example, you created a blog, a website, or you share a lot of your teaching activities in Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, current form. Whether you share your teaching delivery approach through conference, or you are invited to train some of your peers, okay, or maybe through discussion, informal discussion. That means a lot of people come and refer to you, and you have some small meeting with them. So is there any sharing that you give? Apart from that, they also want to see how do you develop yourself to be a more skillful educator in teaching and learning. Okay, and not only that, the last part is about your academic leadership in teaching and learning. So do you involve in any committee or any activity or program, either at the university level or maybe the lowest part at the program level, faculty level, department level, university level, national level, or even international level? And one thing inside here that also need to be put into is the testimony. Okay, you have your belief, you have the teaching experience, you show them through the list of courses, the number of students that you have, the way you improve your teaching and learning, you share. But apart from all this, they also want to know how other people see you. See you means that giving comments about your teaching, testimony from students, testimony from your peers, your superior, okay, from the university, as well as if you have the opportunity from industry or agency. Because some of the academicians, when they teach, they also train and handle workshop to society, community, as well as industry. And even some, I believe, with now coming to, we have the SULAM, okay, the service learning. So a lot of academicians right now are involved with community and society. So how the society and the community that you involve with perceive your teaching and learning. So this is me, June 2019. I go to KPT to submit. But don't get me wrong, in actual fact, actually the university is responsible to submit. Okay, in UMT, and I'm sure in every university, we have our Urusetium, okay, the secretariat for award. In our UMT, we have under Pejabat Pendaftar, okay, there is a section for award. So they are the ones who handle and submit. But the question is why I took a flight, go there by my own. Is it because I don't believe the secretariat will submit my application? No. Okay. They have done a wonderful job, but I didn't do a wonderful job of finishing on time, on the targeted time in which their staff would go to KPT to submit, because I've said that I need to finish off something. There's some problem with my printing, so I need to finish up, and I couldn't finish it within the time frame that the staff wanted to fly to go to KPT. So I said, never mind. I booked my own ticket. On the day of submission, I took the first morning flight, go to KPT, submit the application. The staff was going one day before to submit the application. So because of that, that is why I go by myself to submit my application, and have the chance to ask the staff at KPT to take my picture, okay, not knowing that I was the recipient for 2019. Okay, now June 2019, I submitted based on my experience. Middle of July, I received a letter inviting me for teaching simulation. So 1 month after submission, they conducted the teaching simulation. So I went to do my teaching simulation in front of the panel. I will share to you what do we need to do in teaching simulation later on. So after end of July, after 1 month, then those who receive the award will get a notification. Okay, so 1 month before the event, I got a notification informing me that I am one of the recipients. So I'm sharing this because so that in UNIMAS or any faculty members will know that there is a span of time frame. So if you know that suddenly, for those of you who submit, then suddenly you know that in 1 week time, there is an announcement of Anugerah Akademik Negara ceremony. So you know that those who submitted are not the ones who has been decided to be awarded the award. Because generally I've got the information about 1 month before the ceremony. Okay, because in my experience, last time I submitted in 2017 actually, before I submitted in 2019. But when I submitted, my application was rejected because my time service as an academician is not 10 years. Okay, because at that particular time, the criteria was having a 10-year teaching experience after you have been obtained pengesahan jawatan. So my pengesahan jawatan was obtained 3 years after I've becoming a lecturer. So even though I have achieved this 10 years experience, but the criteria at that time was 10 years teaching experience after pengesahan jawatan. So when I submitted, it was not being evaluated and rejected because I don't fulfill the criteria. So for your information, if you have submitted for example, in 2022, and you don't receive the award, if you want to submit again, you need to wait for another year. So you cannot submit in 2023. If you want to submit again, you need to submit 1 year after. That means 2024. There is a 1 year gap. You cannot, if you don't get the award after submission this year, you cannot just simply submit again next year. So you need to wait for another 1 year. Okay. So this is where I'm going to share with you. June 2019, I submitted. So what happened prior to that? So what is my preparation and what do you need to do in order to submit for this application? So the second part is about the journey, okay, but not the journey of my teaching experience. I don't intend to share what I did along the way in teaching and learning, but the thing that I would like to share with you is the preparation to submit for AAN. But if you want to know, just feel free to ask. I would be glad to share some of it. Okay. So my journey as an educator started in 1996. Okay, just to give you a background of myself before showing you the process. So I started off as a tutor in 1996 in UPM Terengganu at that time, before UMT was born. Okay, UMT at that time was called as UPM Cawangan Terengganu, Universiti Putra Malaysia Cawangan Terengganu. So this is where I started. Okay, and I put here, I started with no education knowledge and background, because at that time my degree was in fisheries. I'm not a graduate in degree in education. So my teaching experience is based on simulating what my previous lecturers taught me before. Okay, and I started to become a lecturer in 2006. And 2010, that is where, if you all remembered, OBE comes in. So I attended a lot of trainings and workshops. And in 2012, the university also sent me to train in ACAP, because at that time, ACAP also conduct training in teaching and learning, especially for teaching and learning leadership. So apart from that, they conducted a lot of TOT program. Anybody of you have gone through all these TOT program last year? No, last year. I think 10 years ago. Okay, there are a lot of trainings at that time on digital education, e-learning, on scholarship of teaching and learning, SOTL, supervision, even industrial training for those who wants to become the penyelaras latihan industri. So 2012, the focus is on e-learning. So I followed a lot of trainings, okay, where the university also provide training for academicians. So I took that opportunity to join all those trainings related to e-learning. Then in 2000, yes?
Sorry for
sorry.
interject you.
Sorry,
There is a
yeah.
question from Dr. Farah Akmal in the chat room.
Let me check. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, check. Lupa tahun berapa kan? Okay. I joined SOTL, if not mistaken, 2014. 2014, at that time. There was about 2020. Were you together with me?
Dr. Farah.
Dr. Farah?
Dr. Shahreza rasa macam ya kot.
Ah,
2014 juga saya pergi.
yes.
Pergi
Ada
akad.
waktu tu, yeah, my group was Dr. Wei Suhan, and then there's some lecturers from UNIZA.
I forgot, saya same group with USM lecturers, apa lagi tak ingat dah.
Okay, ada juga apa ni gang kat sini. Thank you. Kan ada kan? That was a long time ago, about 8 years, SOTL. But now ACAP focus more on leadership for administrative. So less focusing on this teaching and learning.
And there is another question from Dr. Farah
Yeah.
as well, Dr. Shah. 10 years
Uh-huh.
of teaching services, was it included tutor experience too, Doctor?
No, bukan. 10 years as a lecturer, not as tutor. That means the first criteria, you must be a permanent staff. When I was a tutor, the status was temporary. That's why in my case, I became a lecturer, a permanent lecturer in 2006. So if 10 years, it would be about 2016. But because my pengesahan jawatan is in 2009, early 2000, end of 2009, I became a lecturer in December 2006. So 2010, if I'm not mistaken, 2009, then only I get the pengesahan jawatan. So you need to count from the year that you are being, yang you disahkan jawatan. So that is why for me, when I submitted in 2017, I was not counted. But during 2019, they have modified, they have changed that syarat. That means 10 years of experience starting from your appointment as a lecturer. And that means they omitted the after pengesahan jawatan. So now, for those of you lecturers, you can start counting starting from the year you are appointed as a lecturer. So don't start to count after you have sah jawatan. Alright? Okay, any more question kita, Dr. Mazlina? Rasanya
So far tak ada, Dr.
tak ada,
Shah.
kan?
Boleh teruskan.
Okay. Alright. Thank you very much, Dr. Mazlina. Okay. 2014, okay, I was pulled together under talent development program. So I'm part of the candidate under UMT talent development program for teaching and learning. And 2015, UMT focused and developed a group of people for teaching leadership. So this is where I get involved in becoming task force for, last time, if you remember, in 2015, we have this ICGPA. So I was involved as a task force to execute ICGPA in UMT, and we were invited to give training. In fact, I start to be invited. UMT invited me to give training since 2012 for new lecturers at that time. But I was frequently invited as a trainer since 2015. And also, we were involved in a lot of handling workshops and also conference. Okay, so I don't deny that I'm a product of UMT Talent Development Program. So why I highlighted this? And the reason I'm trying to explain this is that success is not about yourself. That means it is like, for example, I always consider it's like a Formula One racing, where the driver will drive a car, but along the way, there are a lot of people taking care of the engine, taking care of the tires, taking care of the fuel. So a lot of support that you get, either from the universities or from your friend. And in UMT, when they created this talent development program starting in 2014, what I mean talent development is not that, okay, you are now the talent, so these are the things that you just follow. So it's not like you're being spoon-fed. Okay, you just go this, do this, do this, we will appoint you like this, like this, like this, so that we prepare you to win the AAN. No. But talent development, it means they are preparing talent so that universities have people that can be referred to by future lecturers or by UMT to lead certain tasks in the university, especially in the aspects of teaching and learning. So when they have this talent development program, they created a lot of trainings, and they created a very conducive platform and ecosystem for academicians to advance their career. So when they have created this platform and ecosystem, so it's up to the academician to take the opportunity to follow. Okay, so they don't force you, but they pull and they created several programs. Part of it is the workshop on developing teaching portfolio. Okay, that is part of it, and they initiate a task force, jawatan kuasa inovasi pengajaran. So I'm one of the committee members being involved to lead the innovation initiative at UMT. So that is why I highlighted that the university also need to play a role in creating a conducive environment for the advancement of lecturers in teaching and learning, apart from research. And just to share you, in 2020, the university under our TNCAA initiated a research on SOTL, Scholarship of Teaching and Learning. So under the special peruntukan dana khas, TNCAA provided about 100,000 to be distributed to lecturers to do research on teaching and learning. This is to polish and brush up, to improve the teaching and learning, as well as to inculcate and nurture the research culture in teaching and learning among academicians. And they provided about 5,000 to 6,000 ringgit to the recipient. And the lecturers need to go through the same process. That means you need to apply. There is a committee that evaluates your proposal, and those who are eligible will be given the money. All right. Now, the next part is I'm going to explain about the stages. Okay. So I'm going to start with stage 1, and after this part of the stage 1, maybe we can have a break for a while at about 11 o'clock, and then we continue after 10 minutes. Now, the first part to prepare for submission is your teaching portfolio. I can say that this comprises 80% of your effort to submit for AAN award, Teaching and Learning Award. Okay, this is my portfolio. The most right is the final one. Okay, this one, the brown and dark gray, is my first teaching portfolio. It's a scrapbook produced through a workshop, a 2-day workshop. And the second one is the teaching portfolio that I submitted in 2017. Okay, this is the first time where I got rejected because I didn't comply for that 10-year, what we call as 10-year academic experience. But again, no wonder they rejected. You can see my teaching portfolio. I think if you look also, you won't be interested to have a look of looking at this the outside of the book. Okay, I show to you here if you can see this. So this is the first part. It's all cut and paste. This is not the cut and paste in the computer. That means you print and then you just paste using a gum, because it's a workshop, and at the end of the workshop, you need to prepare a portfolio. So we go running around printing, and we put in. So this is my first, way back in 2014. After that, we have another workshop in 2015 to see the progress. And then along the way, this is the I can see the second version, a much better version, and the last part is the final one. But still, this thing can be improved further actually, because I prepared this. I didn't start from zero when I was asked to submit, but you know that if you have more time, for example, 3 months prior, I believe that I can prepare a better cosmetic, in terms of cosmetic, for this portfolio, right? So why I'm sharing this, because even though I submitted in 2019, but part of the content in my teaching portfolio has already started way back in 2014. So it's about 5 years span. But during that 2014 and 2015, the progress I can say is only about 30%. But a lot of progress came when coming to 2017, where I was asked by the university to try to submit for AAN. Okay, so I'm not I'm not trying to give a lecture about teaching portfolio. If, for example, in the future, UNIMAS wants, there are a lot of recipient and even panels who can share with the academicians at UNIMAS regarding how to develop a teaching portfolio. Even I myself also have the opportunity to conduct a workshop in several universities and even in UMT regarding developing teaching portfolio. So a teaching portfolio, as you see here, is a document. So it explains the strength and main achievement of a lecturer. So it's just like a CV, but a CV regarding your teaching and learning. So it comprises of teaching philosophy, your teaching strategy, you have your belief, you have your philosophy, you have a way to teach, okay, because that is how you perceive teaching and learning. So they want to know you explain to them about your strategy, how you improve your teaching and learning, your achievement, any recognition or award that you receive, and how do you share your teaching practices. So you document all this in a printed copy, in which you call as a teaching portfolio. So anybody of you here has already started or already have a teaching portfolio, please do so, respond to the chat, because I know a lot of universities now, they ask lecturers to prepare teaching portfolio for the Anugerah Pengajaran. In UMT, for Anugerah Pengajaran Cemerlang, one of the criteria is you need to submit a teaching portfolio. And our teaching portfolio also follows not the standard, but follows the format of AAN. I was also have the opportunity to be invited by 2 universities to be their panel for Anugerah Pengajaran. They also required the recipient, the candidate, to prepare a teaching portfolio. Okay. So for your teaching portfolio, you need to align who you are as a teacher or educator. So here, the first thing that you need to share is your philosophy. Again, the belief, why you teach in such a way. Because based on your teaching portfolio, people can understand, no wonder this person teach like this. You know that some educators, they prefer to develop kits. Okay, they like to create teaching kits. Some they like to create books, okay, modules. But some they like the students to create by themselves. There must be a reason why. So there are, each academician have their own perceive about teaching and learning. So panel would like to know, how do you perceive teaching and learning, and why do you teach that way? So this will anchor everything that you explain inside your teaching portfolio. The next one, since you said that you are an academician, you have a philosophy, for sure you need to teach. So they also wanted to know, what do you teach? Otherwise, people can say that you are a crazy person because you have a teaching philosophy, but you never teach any subject. Okay, so proof of your experience as a teacher or educator is that you must teach. So you need to provide the list of subject and who are the students that you supervise. And then when you have this, so people know that, okay, you are an educator, you teach. So how do you teach? So you need to put inside your portfolio your approach, and then your innovation. How do you assess your student? And again, the third component is your accomplishment in teaching and learning. So how the student improve based on your method, based on your approach, based on your delivery. Okay, is there any improvement in terms of grades, in terms of behavior, or there is a transformation among the students right after going through their learning experience with you? And then testimony, the comments, your feedback. In UMS, I think you also have a system where students give comments, right? Regarding your teaching and learning. In UMT, we have that, we call it ESPP, Sistem Penilaian Pensyarah. At the end, I think about the 12th week for every semester, students needs to give feedback regarding the lecturer's teaching. So, to show that, okay, you are a good educator, the feedback can come from students. Again, I said your superior. Superior can be your head of department, the dean, must come from the university. For example, the pusat, like for example, the pengarah KAM or TNCAA, as well as your peers. Okay, so ask your peers to give feedbacks. They can write it either in emails. It may not be formal letter. It can be in WhatsApp, email. Some comments that you get in your Facebook or Instagram, you can also use it as evidence. And then self-improvement. What are the training and workshop that you attend? And also knowledge sharing. Publication, your presentation, speaker. But please bear in mind, all of the things that you put inside your teaching portfolio is related to your teaching. So any research that you do is about your teaching, but not about your field of expertise. Unless your field of expertise is already in education. Okay? Like for me, my field of expertise is not on education, it's on genetics, fish genetics. So, but I did also some research regarding teaching and learning in my field. So these are the things that you need to share. And the last part, any award that you get. If I'm not mistaken, last time, one of the criteria is the candidate must won an award at the university. It may not necessarily be at the university level. It can be at the department level. It can be at the faculty level, okay, and as well as the university level. And another one is, if I'm not mistaken, at my time, your innovation must also win an award or medal, but it may not necessarily be at the national or international level. It can be in-house. For example, your faculty conduct teaching and learning innovation competition, or your university, UNIMAS, handles this teaching and learning innovation competition. So any venue that you win, so these are the criteria that will be considered apart from your teaching and learning experience. Okay, so these are the content of a teaching portfolio. So based on my experience preparing the teaching portfolio, these are the six, the format, the content of teaching portfolio. You have six main chapters. One is your teaching philosophy. Chapter 2 is strategy in teaching and supervision and assessment. Okay. Chapter 3, creativity and innovation and impact towards your teaching and learning. Chapter 4, assessment and testimonial in teaching and learning. Chapter 5, improvement in teaching and learning and professional development. And number 6, your scholarship in teaching and learning. So some universities may have different format. Last time I still remembered when I followed the workshop on teaching portfolio way back in 2014, UMT was in the planning to ask all academicians to prepare a teaching portfolio. So during that time, I still remembered the suggestion was to follow UITM's format. Okay, but what I'm trying to highlight is that certain universities, they have a certain format. So if UNIMAS happens to have this rule in which academicians need to prepare a teaching portfolio, then if the format is different, then you need to tune the format according to the AAN teaching portfolio format. All right, so let us see. I stop here for a while. We will take a break. But before we take a break, do you have any questions from the audience? Anything that you like to ask?
Anyone from participant? But in the chat room, we have no question. But I would like to share with Dr. Shah, when you mentioned about the content of teaching portfolio,
Yes.
we actually under UNIMAS, we are following the criteria according to the AAN. So for your information, we have 2 steps of Anugerah. So the first Anugerah is normally under faculty or pusat lah. And
Okay.
then the faculty will decided the winner, the recipient of the award. And
Okay.
then we have like right now we are at the we adding the what we call the panel berkecuali, the exceptional panel, in order to what we call check and balance decision from the faculty. So this panel berkecuali will assist the faculty committee in order to decide the recipient of the faculty level. And then when the faculty decided the recipient, they will send to us lah at the center. So because the center come organizing all the what we call the certificate and so on. And after that, come also arrange from the peringkat faculty, come will arrange one Anugerah as well under UNIMAS. That one we call normally we are sending for Magu lah, Majlis Anugerah untuk level UNIMAS lah. And then so we will take normally we will encourage those who are recipient under faculty to send to the university level. And after that for the AAN, we will take those who are receive the award under UNIMAS, and then we will send their name to what we call to join the AAN. Like last year 2021, we have two candidates for Anugerah Pengajaran as well as Anugerah Seni and Creativity. For Anugerah Pengajaran, our candidate listed for final. However, she are not won for that award lah. Tapi kita masuk final. Untuk Anugerah Seni kita tak dapat, tapi kita ada candidate yang kita submit lah.
What category was that dalam teaching tu? Kategori apa dia masuk?
Pengajaran lah. Untuk pengajaran.
Under which cluster?
Cluster Applied Science.
I see.
Orang sains jugalah, Applied Science, Associate Professor Dr. Rafi'ah, and then for Seni and Creativity, Associate Professor Dr. Saiful Bahri. So kita dapat final lah, cuma kita tak ada rezeki untuk this time.
Yeah,
right.
But Alhamdulillah, because once kalau dapat final pun at least the candidate dah experience the whole process.
Yes, betul.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
The experience tu yang sangat berharga.
Yeah, betul. So that is the process lah untuk UNIMAS. So far we are using alignment in term of criteria under AAN, so that easy for the candidate lah kalau dia nak pursue untuk AAN.
Yes.
Jadi we are using the similar criteria lah under AAN.
For teaching philosophy, as you all know, is the explanation regarding your philosophy in teaching. How do you perceive? Why do you teach that way? And what do you value when you teach? And it depends on each individuals. Like for me, I highlighted my philosophy based on 3 aspects, that is flexibility, diverse, as well as creativity. So based on these 3 components, I explain why and how do I see teaching and learning, and what do I do regarding my approach based on this, and why I see flexibility, diversity, is important for me in teaching and learning. So every individual has their own philosophy. There's no wrong philosophy. Okay? Any philosophy is good in relation to that. Whatever philosophy that you have, that philosophy should be translated into student improvement. This is what I was informed, and these are the things that I try to put inside. Because previously, when last time we invited a panel way back in 2015, the panel mentioned to us, it's no point having a philosophy, but your approach does not improve student learning. Okay, some people say that I'm very strict, I will punish students who came late, but that kind of approach doesn't even improve. So you must provide evidence that your belief that this is the way to train students really improves the students' learning and as well as their performance. Performance need not be great in terms of grade, but the performance in terms of changes, transformation in terms of their behavior. They are becoming more disciplined, they're becoming more committed, okay? They become more confident, for example. So the alignment between that. Okay, in strategy in teaching, I explained about the courses that I teach. So for those of you, you can fill up explaining about the courses. You can put up the list of courses. in my case, I put the list of courses because I teach various courses along the way. The 10 years of my experience and the list of your postgraduate students. It would be good to explain about your way of supervising students. Okay, and highlight. I put in one course that I would like to highlight to show the strength of my approach. You don't need to put up every syllabus. For those of you who teach many subjects, you don't need to put every syllabus, course syllabus inside. We can just put only one and highlight that the course to show our strength. If that is the course that you conduct a lot of innovation, so highlight that particular course. You don't need to put up everything. And in creativity, in teaching and learning, I explain about my perspective on innovation, why innovation is important, and I also explained when I prepared my portfolio, what are the issues. Okay, for example, in my subject, I teach about genetics. So when you talk about genetics, genetics are not things that you can see physically. It's inside the cell. So it is a problem for the student to visualize how does the genes interact and suddenly produce fish with different colors. When you breed, you mate between male and female fish, suddenly you get a different coloration. So what happens in the cell? So these are my challenges. So I highlighted this as a reason why I do innovation in my teaching and learning. And also in my case, I explained the reason why, because in my course, a lot of students at that particular time are students I considered as they don't choose our program because our program is not that popular, just like engineers or doctors. Okay, most of my students, when I teach that time, 5-10 years ago, they choose our program as their 5th choice. Not many of them choose as their number 1 choice in UPU. So you can see that some of them don't have that motivation, okay, to enter the program. So the element of trying to motivate them comes into place. It may be different for you, for those who my assumption may be wrong, but it may be different for those of you who are teaching in engineering or in doctors, because the students since their school were eager and dream of getting into becoming a doctor. So their commitment, their motivation will be different compared to students in my program, okay, in our aquaculture and fisheries program. So I highlighted these challenges and why there is a need for me to do innovation, and why some of my theories in teaching and learning, okay, I adopted behaviorism teaching learning theories. Okay, and I explained about my innovation, okay, and how it was conducted. I presented the step-by-step how the student learn through my innovation, and also I highlighted the impact of the innovation. So here, I put up a lot of students' comments, student feedback, the results of the assessment, okay, as well as any comments that I receive from Facebook as well as WhatsApp. So you can put in a lot of evidence, photos, videos if you captures, and also students' reflection. So these are the things, in my experience, I add up and put it inside the portfolio. And in assessment and testimonial, this is where you need to provide comments and feedback from the students, and also, as I mentioned just now, from your colleague, faculty, department, or industry. And I'm very fortunate because through my teaching, I also conduct training to farmers. And we also have this knowledge transfer program to the farmers. So I was able to use my teaching kits, and also I'm was able to have the opportunity to train farmers. So I took this chance to ask the industry to give feedback about my teaching and learning. So out of the 5, I fulfill all those 5 testimony coming from students, undergraduate students, postgraduate students, peers, from my deans, as well as from my Pusat Pembangunan Kualiti Akademik, as well as from my university. So again, I put up various forms, letters, email, any comments from the social media. You just screenshot the one that you receive either from Facebook, Instagram, and also from any other medium. If you have cards, okay, students sending you, I've seen some of my friends nowadays, the student prepared from Canva poster. Recently, if you notice, Happy Teachers Day. So anything that you get from that, you can put up inside here. And improvement in teaching and learning. So in my case, I put a lot of my strategy, because I keep up my reflective, I do what we call as a reflective practice. So anything that I did, I will jot down. I will highlight what I think went wrong. Okay, where do I need to improve for my next lecture? So these are the things that I shared in my teaching portfolio. But for those of you who have, you prepare a journal, not this publication journal, the journal where you jot down your activities, blogs, if you have, so you can screenshot or give the link of your blog for the panel to see. And if some of you created Google form and pass to the students to get feedbacks, so you can use that as evidence. So improvement also can be in a way of the list of courses. So you can put up your certificates, pictures. I was fortunate because at that time, our Pusat Bakat and Universiti Akademik, when they conducted training, they always post the pictures inside their Facebook. So I have the chance to download the pictures and use them as evidence for some of the courses that I attended. Okay, so photos, certificates, okay, anything, then you can provide inside here. But apart from that, I don't have the chance to prepare it, but if you have the chance, you can prepare. It will be good to prepare using infographic. It will be more beautiful, more structured, okay, more easy for people to see. If you have the time now, you can start to create all these infographics regarding your activities. And in terms of scholarship, teaching and learning, so I put up inside here the letter of appointment as a committee member, either at the national level or UMT level, and also in the faculty level. And I highlighted the awards that I received previously. Along the way, I have received award for best educator for my faculty, and then the award for AKRI, Anugerah Khas, for this innovation at the national level. Currently, they call it AKRI. Previously, APRS, Anugerah Pemikiran dan Reka Bentuk Semula. that was the first being conducted in 2017. I was the champion for transformative teaching. Okay. Later on, I was appointed as the jury for the same competition, which has been changed the name into AKRI, Anugerah Khas Menteri Pengajian Tinggi. This year, I was informed by Prof. Aziah that Dr. Wan Zuhainis mentioned KPT will organize again AKRI, but I don't know when. But as far as up until now, I also haven't received anything. Either maybe they have already formed a new committee member for AKRI for this year. So involvement in any committee, if you have as a panel, judge, list of courses, not that you attended, but a list of courses that you give, okay, that you were invited as a trainer. And again, I put a lot of certificates, appointment letters, and also photos of the activities along the way in terms of teaching leadership. And these are the evidence based on my experience that I put up. The courses, I screenshot from our LMS, the list of courses, the subject, and also the list of students. I collect back a lot of my teaching and learning photos and videos, okay, and also the impact, the evidence that I receive, testimony, any testimony as I've mentioned, this just to repeat again here, pictures, certificate, letters in terms of your awards and recognition, and also the self-development. So these are the things that I prepared and I put up in the folders. So to develop your teaching portfolio based on my experience, I would like to suggest to all of you, the first thing that you need to do is you need to update your personal CV. Because once you get the current information of your extensive work and achievement, it will be easier for you to track the evidence. The next step is compile. I collect a lot of evidence from various sources, and then the problem comes in, how should I organize them? So prepare a lot of folders, okay, folders for award, folders for the photos, everything, so that once collecting them, then I can select the appropriate one. So again, organize your evidence. So I prepared in terms of folders. And the most important thing is to identify your teaching and learning goals. This is important because this will anchor whatever things that you need to put. I was informed by the panel that we invited last year, previous years in 2014. Whatever that you put up inside your teaching portfolio must be aligned with your teaching philosophy, because people want to look at your philosophy and the translation of your philosophy to your teaching and learning. Because some, they say that in the philosophy, I like to engage with the students, but most of the evidence is a one-way process of teaching. So these are the things that you need to put on more emphasis. Okay, once you have collect and compile your evidence, then select and organize your evidence in your teaching portfolio. Now, stage number 2 is teaching simulation. Once you prepare and you submit. Now, for teaching portfolio, what I was informed also by other universities, the secretariat can assist in to make up and make your portfolio beautiful. So that means, I think UNIMAS also have that, right, Dr. Mazlina?
Yes.
So don't work alone, because sometimes you may not be as creative as some staff who are very creative. But in my case, because the time is very short, I don't know, maybe for you 1 month is not short, it's long, but for me 1 month is very short to compile and make it beautiful. But I'm grateful because my wife helped me a lot in make up the portfolio. Only the front part where the university helped me to prepare the graphic. Okay, and again, don't get me wrong, it's not because the university didn't help, but because I was still struggling to finish up the teaching portfolio. That is why I'm very grateful. Along the way, my wife helped me to design the internal part of the portfolio. Okay, stage number 2, teaching simulation. In this teaching simulation, you will be given 15 minutes duration, okay, to teach. So the evaluator or panel will be your students. So you come in, you need to prepare, and you need to teach. I got the chance to enter this, as well as just now Dr. Mazlina also mentioned, several UNIMAS last year's candidate also have the chance to enter. UMT, before this, my colleague in engineering also got the chance to go through this teaching simulation, but she didn't get this award. It's not her rezeki at that particular time. That was in 2018. And having her as the first experience to enter, so I've got the chance to discuss with her and assist me to have an idea on how to prepare for the teaching simulation. So what do you need to do? Okay, you need to do micro teaching. Micro teaching means that you choose a small portion of your scope, a topic. You don't need to teach the whole topic, but out of one topic that you want to teach, select one aspect. For example, it can be just introduction to economics. Okay? In my case, last time, I choose one of the component in my subject in genetics. Well, in genetics, I have this where you call it as gene interaction. Okay, where you have this dominant recessive. For those of you who are in science, you may recap back. We learned since I think SPM, there is a dominant and recessive gene. There is this interaction. I only pick one. Okay, and my time I only pick one type of interaction, and that is what I do for my micro teaching. Okay, to me, I've tested. If you want to teach, for example, more than one component, it might take you might struggle to finish it within 15 minutes. Because what, to me, they wanted to see is, they want to experience your teaching. Okay, it's not about the content, but they want to see, well, you say that your philosophy is like this, so we want to feel. You say that student really likes the way you teach, so now we want to feel your greatness in teaching. So teach us. So the one that they want to experience is your way of teaching, not the content. So just pick one as a tool to show to them how you teach them and make them experience the fun or excitement of your teaching. So in micro teaching, you can sectionize into 3. The first part is the introduction part, in where this is where you will highlight your course learning outcome, your learning outcome for that day, the objective of your delivery on that particular time, okay, or the starting of your lesson. And to start off doesn't necessarily be where, okay, the objective for today is this. You need to be creative. The second is your activity, because for sure, when you enter this stage, okay, it's not because of a one-way teaching method like what I'm doing right now. For sure, it is because of the active learning that you have developed, and also you allow the active teaching and active learning, where the student learn actively to gain knowledge about your particular subject. So, to deliver your content, you need to have your learning activity. How do you engage with your students? So in this case, the panel. Okay, my experience is it's a bit of shaky in the first part, because most of the panel are professors. Okay, compared to when we teach, a lot of us are students. So the first 1 to 2 minutes, I don't know about you, but it's a bit shaky. But Alhamdulillah, I was able to go through. And the third one is you need to summarize. So make sure that you finish this within 15 minutes. The introduction, the learning activity, and the closing of the subject. If you are unable to finish within 15 minutes, that is what I gain experience from my colleague who entered, and also from other recipient when I asked them, you might have a greater chance of not getting the award. Not have greater chance of getting the award, but you will be having a greater chance of not having the award. And another thing that I would like to share is, generally when your turn comes to go and present, they will give you time. Okay, take your time to prepare all the necessary things. If you are ready, you can start. So they will start to take the time when you start your teaching, not when you start to come into that room and prepare. I'm telling you this based on the experience by some other candidate. Some couldn't have the chance to continue with their teaching because their preparation before teaching, when they entered the room, also takes about more than 10 minutes. So that's why, apart from preparing your portfolio, preparing for your micro teaching is also important. So try to avoid the need to take a lot of time to make a preparation. What I mean by this? Well, some of the candidate, I presume, they want to share some of their innovation which uses online activity. So in trying to prepare for that, you need to open up your computer, you need to log in, you need to sign up, and then you need to ask the student to sign. So setting up this thing may take more than 5 minutes, which is an indicative that you're going to go into trouble, right? So to me, when I was trying to prepare, I was thinking along the line of how my teaching that I want to portray reflect my philosophy, which is diverse, flexible, and adaptive. Sorry, not creativity, adaptive, adaptable, can be portrayed in my approach when I need to do this teaching simulation. And you need to summarize, then you can complete. So this is what you need to do. If you have the chance to enter again, or you have the chance to be to go to the second stage, prepare and practice. And remember, okay, these are the things for me that I would like to highlight. You need to teach and not presenting about what you did in class. This is not a presentation in what we call as in conference, where you say that, okay, in my teaching, I do like this. Normally in my class, I will ask the student to do this. Okay, I will create this. It's not about making a presentation telling how you teach, but it is about you doing your teaching to the panel. So these are the things that you need to be cautious. And the second, anything that you do must be aligned with or portray your teaching philosophy. So if you say that you actively engage with the student, for you, you believe that student learns best when they do things. They learn by doing. So for me, you enter the stage and just present in a one-way manner. So it will show that you are not aligned. Your philosophy is like this, but your approach is different. And for those of you who might have innovation, and that innovation may need time. Okay, for example, in my case, I developed a teaching kit, but my teaching kits will take and span for about 4-week duration, and it is conducted in a lab session. Means that you can remember for 1 week, one lab session will take about 3 hours. 3 hours. Okay, the activity will take about 2 hours. So just imagine how to show my teaching kits that I innovate with the panel during teaching simulation, which only takes about 15 minutes. So this is where my creativity comes in. How do I use my other kits, but I can portray my innovation within 15 minutes. So this is where you need to be more creative. Okay, if for those of you where your innovation might not be able to be used during your micro teaching. Okay, I'm sharing you this based on my experience because I'm not the panel. I don't know how they evaluate. Okay, maybe you will have a more clear view if you have the sharing from the panel. But I'm telling you this based on my experience and also my communication with previous award winners and also from my colleague. And number 3, during your simulation, you need to complete your micro teaching. So stage number 3 is the interview. So interview, just right after you finish your teaching simulation, so you will be given they will give you about 15 minutes for interview. So during this interview, they will ask you questions related to your philosophy, related to your experience, okay, it can be related to your improvement to the students' learning, okay. So there is no, I can say, presets of a question, but it depends on how do you perform at that particular time. So the question can be varied among individuals. But what I can share with you is always remember anything that you do, make sure that it is aligned with your philosophy. Because that's why I say teaching philosophy is the heart which anchors any of your teaching activities. And through my experience and also from the talk that UMT conducted by inviting panels last time, as I told you, the panel always inform us about that. Then after that, we just leave it to Allah. Okay? Even though the panel decide, but the rizki actually comes from Allah. If the panel wants to give, but Allah said, you don't get it, you don't get it. But if you feel that you don't perform well, for example, okay, or you have performed your best, and Allah says that you will get it, then you will get it. So after stage 3, what you have is just dua, pray, okay, and tawakkal. So we come to the last part, that is the summary. So what I would like to summarize is that for those of you, based on my experience, again, I would like to reiterate, develop your teaching portfolio. As I've shown to you, my journey in preparing consists of 3 stages. It started off with a scrapbook coming from a workshop, and then refine it because I was, maybe when you retired, you will not be teaching your subject anymore. But all those juniors who will be taking over your subject may learn something from you. You may not want an award, but you are assisting your future colleagues in the path and advancement of their teaching and learning experience. So develop your teaching portfolio, and always remember this. I like to highlight this. In teaching, what do you require? You require knowledge in teaching. You must remember, I'm sure most of you who are not in the field of education, who are not graduating from degree in education or masters in education or any thing related to education. Like for me, I graduated my PhD in genetics. So you have the knowledge in the field of your expertise, but you must have the knowledge to deliver your content. You may have the expert on your content, but you must also have the knowledge and skill to deliver your content. And that skill is the knowledge in teaching. So you must have this culture of wanting to learn and equip yourself with all this knowledge in teaching and learning. Then only you can start to improvise, you can start to innovate, you have the ideas on what to do to improve student learning. And you must remember, along the way, in research, we have more than 5 to 7 years of experience. You can reflect back yourself. We start to do our research when we were in final year. It take about 1 year. Continue your master's, still doing research, take about 2 years. Your PhD may take about 3 to 4 years. So you already have a vast experience in research, okay, in your field of knowledge. But what about your experience in teaching? So there is an imbalance in academician where you started off with, I think, more than 50% experience and skill in research. But I think you can reflect back how many percent when you started off as a lecturer, okay, your skill in teaching and learning. So need to balance up. And again, if you equip yourself, it doesn't matter how many resources that you have. If you don't know how to use them, it will never be enough. So you need to practice whatever you learn. The only way to be skillful is you practice. You need to apply to sharpen your skill. Okay. Why I highlighted this in relation to all these things? Because the focus of whatever you do is not actually for the award. The focus of things that you do is actually to the students. Okay. When you are committed and you are engrossed in focusing on doing things to improve your student, you will achieve a lot of things, okay, compared to people who are just doing innovation for the sake of collecting medals to put up inside their CVs or inside the cupboards in their office. But if you put your wholehearted self to the advancement of students, you will think various ways, various creative ideas to do things and to innovate for the sake of improving your students. And when you do things along that way, then inshallah, magic will happen. And finally, must remember, don't be afraid to make mistakes. We are not an expert. So when you start to apply, when you apply things in your teaching and learning, some of the things that you tried might not be successful at the first time. So that is why you have continuous quality improvement. Okay? Your mistake is your best teacher. Your best teacher in teaching and learning is not the judges or panel at innovation competition. I highlighted this because I've seen the trend now. I even highlighted in during the meeting with the judges for innovation competition. There is a trend nowadays because teaching and learning innovation competition, I can say what, tubuh bagai cendawan sekarang ni. And people try to collect as many medals. So my advice to you is don't get swayed by wanting to have many medals as you want. I see that some of my colleagues say that I want to enter the competition because I can get input from the judges. You must remember this. You don't get input from 100 judges. There might be 2 judges to come and evaluate your innovation. But who are your actual judges? Your actual judges is your students. You are not teaching one student, you are teaching more than 20 students in your class. And you must remember, the judge may have different way of student learning, different way of philosophy. What they advise to you, yes, you can receive the advice, but you must remember their philosophy might be different from your philosophy. So their advice might not be suitable with you, even though the idea is good. Okay, because the philosophy is different, you will find it difficult to apply. But you also must remember, when you teach students, out of 20 students, you will have various diverse learning styles. Some people are visual, some people are kinesthetic, some people are auditory, okay, and some people are auditory, visual, kinesthetic, and read-write. And in certain way of learning styles, some people are theorists. That means they need to reflect first before they can start their work. Some people are pragmatic. So when you have diverse learners, that is where you learn the most in trying to improvise and discuss with your colleague. So getting advice, the purpose of entering just to get advice from judges, to me is good, but there are better way of getting your innovation improve and assist in improving your student. So that is why the best thing is learn, get the knowledge, practice. If things doesn't come out the way you wanted, improve, keep on improving, talk to the students. In my case, I like to develop things by involving the students, because they are the one who wants to learn. Okay, I take advice from the judges, but my actual developer is the student. But don't misunderstood what I said. Oh, that means you get the idea from students and you manipulate. No, the idea is there, but when you want to execute, the students are your client and they are the ones who will learn. So this is where the need for continuous improvement. And finally, you must remember that success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing or learning to do. So, and finally, for Muslim, remember, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. Whatever you do, there is no power nor might except with Allah. So anything that you are able to do is actually with the will from Allah. Okay, so be grateful and know that your success is not because of you, but it's the combination of different people, different the scope, the environment, and many other things. So with that, thank you very much. I would like to again thank Kaum UNIMAS for inviting me. I'm very grateful. Hope that my sharing can give some benefit to all of you and assist all of you in your preparation. May not be for AAN, but also for other venues. And I would like to take this opportunity also to thank UMT for providing me the platform. If there is no UMT, that means there is no teaching. Okay, I cannot teach. So really thank UMT and all my mentors, parents and family, and also all of you who attended this session. So with that, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum, and I hand this session to Dr. Mazlina. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shahreza. Is there any questions from the participants before we end off the session?
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Shah.
Waalaikumsalam.
Haji Shahrul here. Congratulations once
Hai,
again.
Tuan Haji, Tuan Haji.
Yeah, very inspiring talk. Congratulations. Thanks for your sharing. I think, Dr. Mas, we can learn something from UMT as well. For example, the mentor, they have the mentor for him, then now he's the winner, and now he is going to be, he's mentoring another junior lecturer. So for us, I think we don't have to wait until 10 years. We can prepare them now, and after 10 years, our juniors are ready to submit their application, their form. What do you think, Dr. Mas?
Thank you, Tuan Haji Shahrul, for the suggestion. Inshallah, we will look at that because I think the mentor is very important as well. Because the information, I think the sharing from the mentor is very important in order to assist our junior right now. Okay. If there is no question from participant, I think I would like to conclude today's workshop. Thank you very much, Dr. Shah, for the impactful and valuable information from you. I hope that all the participants will get motivation in order to preparing the teaching portfolio. So before submitted to the AAN, so the journey before that is preparing the teaching portfolio. And for your information as well, under CAM, we are providing the bengkel for teaching portfolio as well, Dr. Shah. And yes, so I think the academician in UNIMAS is already have the knowledge and information about preparing the teaching portfolio. So I would like to encourage each and everyone to start to do your teaching portfolio. All right. And with that, I would like to end the session, but I would like to make announcement to all participants in this slot. Anugerah Peringkat Fakulti of Pusat will open on August 2022. And then I would like to encourage all of you to participate in this Anugerah. So that, thank you very much, Dr. Shah, and thank you very much to all participants for joining our workshop today. InsyaAllah hari lain, masa lain kita akan jemput lagi Dr. Shah untuk sharing session yang seterusnya insyaAllah. So thank you very much to all. Stay safe and take care.